Welcome to Mystic Moons. Thank you for joining the cosmic airwaves with Mystic Moons. Now we're going to have some more light-hearted explorations. So let's relax and think about how AI and machines are just running the show. And let's think about the people that are responsible for this great revolution, if it's so-called revolution or takeover. Everyone knows Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Facebook Meta, digital this, digital that, and the very married Zuckerberg. Now, did anybody catch his look the other day at the Trump inauguration? Well, before we go further into that, I'd like to thank all my subscribers and visitors alike, and I welcome all your comments. And I'm broadcasting, if you want to call it that, or I'm sending out ether from the very top of a mountain in the northeast, and it's very cold. It's very cold. And snow outside, there's even snow in Florida, so that's not so unique. But anyway, thank you for joining on this cold, blistery, lonely night. With only the stars and the planets and you and I running around freely in the cosmic ether of questioning. Now back to our show tonight, our show right now. We're going on Celebrity Tarot. Now we can consider these nerds, Bezos, Zuckerberg, celebrities, right? The new AI Stargate celebrities. But anyway, getting back to Trump's inauguration. There's photographs going around of Zuckerberg. And I swear, if he was my husband, I would have beat him up when he came home that night. His eyes almost froze. I mean, it was the most indiscreet, juvenile stare I've ever seen on a mature man. The most juvenile. You would expect that from a ninth grader, a sophomore in high school, or maybe even middle school. But anyway, he was staring at Lauren Sanchez's tits, her bust. I mean, the look he gave, he could have just said, "Wow, you look great tonight. What a great set, what a great rack you have," or "Wow, you look fabulous," or something. But he just was like so obviously could not address it, he could not say, "Wow, you look great tonight, Lauren. You look fabulous. And you're really giving me an eyeful." Instead, he gave one of these 90-degree detour stares. And I swear, if he was to have a stroke, his eyes were to get fixed, if his eyes were to get frozen, that would have been a very awkward experience to happen. So he can count his blessings that his eyes went back to, at least in the front of his head, in that direction. But it was very, very, very sketchy. Now, it looked like he was getting excited. That's where we're going to ask the spirits. And you have to wonder, spirits, did Bezos send Lauren out there on a mission? Maybe. Does he dress her? She's very sexy. She was always a very attractive woman, but she could stop with the surgeries already. But I mean, she's proving a point. I am the most sexiest, wealthiest woman in the world. Okay, Lauren. Okay. Well, you certainly got Mark Zuckerberg's eyeballs. And he's looking. Now, did he get his lust, his nerd lust? Did it go up? Did it overheat, overclock on his mental laptop? I mean, for all prosperity. And I've never seen him in a gala or a function with his wife. Hmm. But that was not the stare of a married man, happily married man, do you think? Did he get his lust button pushed by Lauren? That's a question we're going to ask the great sex ether. Did he? And what will he do? Did he? I mean, you can't say the man just looked at me. He's a grown man. He could have said, "Darling, you look fabulous. Fabulous." But what did he do? His eyes went like 90 degrees in one direction. He's trying to be, can he be cool? Or is he just the epitome of nerdness? Yes, Aaron, I am doing tarot readings, but first I'm going to find out how are you tonight anyway. But first, let's find out if he is planning something. What was this? I mean, that was totally. Did you see that? Did you see the photograph? Go online and look at the Zuckerberg stare, shakedown of Lauren Sanchez. All right, now here we have some cards. Let's see. Well, we have the Five of Wands. I'm using these cards because this is like a slice and dice type of situation. It seemed as though she was sent out there to be an emissary of Amazon, Bezos, because it's fighting. It wasn't lovers yet. Well, and then and anyway, it was like we have the Five of Wands, and then we have the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles, it was public relations, but it was a little hostile. Who's going to get the bigger share of Stargate? And so Jeff Bezos sent his main squeeze. And here we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups, it was like they're all vying for who gets the majority, who gets the most controlling interest. So it's up for grabs. It was the techie titans. And of course, the Knight of Pentacles is like, who brings the most money? Who brings the most money? But we're really talking about, did Zuckerberg get his lust button pushed? Did he get a bite of, I want some of that? Did he? It seems as though he got sidetracked. Now, how far would this distraction take him? Well, he's certainly the lookout. He fell for it. He fell for it. Now he's like, he could still see those breasts in his mind, in his meta mind. Maybe he went and like had somebody draw, a little digital twin of Sanchez, perhaps. How did he do it? Oh, and how we have the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, she was that. This is her. This is Sanchez, Lauren Sanchez. I got it all. I got the money. I got the look. And if you do right, I'll give you a little bit more than just what? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But she's there. She's the giver. And wow, look at this. We start with a Five of Wands and we end with a Five of Swords. Yeah, that was a mover. That was like a planned move. She'll use, now that was below the belt, but that's where you strike these nerds, below the belt, because they say we're so smart we can't be wool over our eyes or our brains interfered with. And you can see that. You can see that. Definitely fighting words. It was a perception, and it was like to see who would get the most. It was just like stir the pot, right? And then the King of Pentacles. And then if Zuckerberg wants to see a little bit more bosom, he should kneel to Bezos' girlfriend. Right? There's a war going on. Who gets the controlling interest? Don't you think so? Don't you think so? Aaron, I am doing tarot readings, and it looks like that was a business. Not so much. Maybe on Amazon side, that was a scheduled, a planned event, and Zuckerberg fell for it. Nerd Zuckerberg found himself lustful. He says, my goodness, I haven't been lustful like that since Tenchi. Tenchi, that's an anime character. Since watching anime. I mean, he hasn't had that much time to watch anime lately, but that took him back. That took him back. He went, oh, yes. Oh, yes. And aren't they laughing? Jeff Bezos is laughing at Zuckerberg, but they're right. But, hey, will he forget that momentary slip of composure that he did? Not as long as there's photographs. No, I don't think so. There is a battle going on between those two tech giants, and they're striking it below the belt, which is the controlling interest, isn't it? I mean, people don't think of nerds as having libidos, urges, but again, Amazon proved them wrong. He says, I got you, Mark, I got you. Or Sanchez has him enraptured with her busty self, her sexy, busty self. So we can see that it's just a clash of who gets how much seed money faster. And what is the details going to go down in that angel investments, a little devil investments, a little tactile investments. Seems like it. Now, if I was Mark's wife, I would have had the rolling pin ready for him when I saw him. He should have better stayed away for a few days until I cooled down if I was his wife. And I saw him just being so gullible. I mean, I was surprised. I was surprised for a man who is usually so composed and dry. I got life. That's what he's trying to say. And Sanchez says, mi amigo. I don't think so. Maybe. Well, this is what we can say. That these bidding wars for Stargate, well, they're going to get a little fleshy, aren't they? A little fleshy, a little something. It'd be interesting to know the inside story, but we can already see from the door that was open, accidentally, I'm sure. I mean, I don't think, usually Zuckerberg keeps better composure. But he's saying, I'm only human. And Sanchez is quite a lot of woman. So that's what we could say about that. That's what we could say. Now, how about, did you see that anybody else have any opinion about that? Don't you think it was a business mover on Amazon's part? There's war going on. And it's who can get the controlling interest. So round one, strike Amazon, Bezos. And in the cornered is Zuckerberg. So will he or won't he be able to counter that? That's a question. So I would say yes, he did get his buttons pushed, and to what extent? We'll have to just wait and see. But he did get a rise. And she'll have to maybe she's the negotiator of this triad, of this tech triad. Maybe. Well, let me just see. It's pretty well sums up. I mean, there's nothing really to explore on that. But it's a question of the main players were visible. And you would think that before we got into more surveillance, which is nothing but data collection, AI, that we would get into more practical things such as food prices, gas prices, energy prices. Instead, we're finding more ways to use more energy more energy. And there was not a word yet about prices of everyday commodities, everyday needs in the middle of winter. So we do see this. And the game goes on. The game goes on. What do you think? Does anybody have? Did you see that? Did you see that action? Did you see that photograph? Did you see that where it was going? Can you read your own your thoughts about the situation? It did seem rather juvenile, didn't it? But it was true grit. True grit. Well, there's nothing more to be said about this, but it was obvious. It was obvious that. And so that's what we can tie up this subject. We can say that Mark Zuckerberg, the nerd in chief, was totally walloped by Lauren Sanchez's sexy, sexy bust, sexiness. And he was like overcome with emotion. Now, will he just disregard it? Or is this an indication that his marriage is a little strained? Maybe his marriage is a little strained. Married men usually don't do things like that, especially intellectual men. They're a little bit more discreet and not so obvious. The same thing. They're not so obvious. They're not so easily swayed. I'll put it that way. I'm sure he has some parties that that and more, much more, are exhibited. But he couldn't control himself in a public venue. So I would almost say that something's missing in Mark Zuckerberg's married life. Of course, I don't know for sure, but his actions certainly seemed a little loose, a little forgotten, a little something. And you say, can a person have a little oogling, in their life? Of course they can. But there's a time and place for everything. A time and place. I mean, really, did he have to wait till she sat down? I'm sure they confronted himself. I mean, I'm sure they introduced themselves or face to face, but it was totally immature. But maybe that's the definition of of the person, perhaps. Perhaps. Anyway, we can see and learn and just observe. So right now, let's take off, and we can see that there's a problem here, and or there's a situation developing, one or the other. But all in all, it's who gets the controlling interest of Stargate, and Lauren Sanchez is out and about doing her adversarial work. Well, thank you very much, and Aaron, if you would, are you still there? Are you? Hmm. Did I skip away? Hmm. Well, I will be back again. So if you would like a reading, keep that thought, and I will be back again. Until the next time, bye bye. And if you like this video, remember, thumbs up if you have any comments. Don't you think this was rather immature for him to act that way? And comments of that, what do you think? Until the next time, bye.